card with the Heron Habitat bundle from the current Stampin' Up! Catalog. It's the new catalog that just started on Tuesday, and I'm excited to be able to show you something fun and new that I just got. So I just got a whole pile of things, of course. You can imagine I was a little busy, a little crazy ordering things on Tuesday, and got a huge box of things on Wednesday, a couple of huge boxes actually. And this is one of the things. So this is the card we're going to be making today. It's actually a really simple card, just a little stamping, a couple of die cuts, and that's it. So it's pretty simple. This is the Heron Habitat stamp set, and again, it's one of the really good ones from the current catalog. So it's got some good sentiments in it. Love the bird images, and kind of like anything, you know, related to the beach. So it's got a thank you sentiment. You're in my thoughts, so thankful for you, happy birthday, and enjoy your day. So this is one of those that's kind of a pretty useful stamp set. Lots of different things you can create with it. It does have a set of coordinating dies called the Heron dies, and it's got a little thing that looks sort of like I don't know, waves or seashore or whatever you want to call it type look. And then there's this one that cuts out the little cattails, this one that cuts out the larger bird, this one that cuts out the bird in flight, this one that cuts out the little like seagull type bird, and then these cut out sentiments, and then there are some kind of just accessory pieces that are like little grass look type dies that you can use. And again, I played with quite a few of the dies in this set for my card today. So again, here is the, hey Penny, thanks for hopping in today and let me know you're here. So again, that's the stamp set, and that's the card we're going to be making. So a couple things before we get going. I am offering a double running shoe reward point ordering bonus now through May 10th, which is Tuesday. So if you place an order with me, you're going to get double reward points. And if you don't know what my reward points are, they're my customer thank yous. Basically, it's a, you know, a little thank you gift that you get. So for every $50 that you order, you earn 1 point with me. And while I'm doing double points, for every $50 you order, you earn 2 points. And so if you order $50, you get 2 points. $100 will get you 4 points. $150 gets you 6 points, so on and so forth. And when you collect 8 points, then I owe you a free $40 order of your choice. So yay for that. So, all right, so let me know if you have questions on that. I do have the details posted on my blog for this as well, and it'll be in the blog post tomorrow when I post all the details about this card and how I made it. And then next thing, and you know, this is another really exciting thing that is going on right now. Stampin' Up! Has a starter kit promotion where you get $66.50 worth of free new products, new in-color products from Stampin' Up! If you join in May. So between May 3rd and May 31st, you're going to get an additional $66.50 in free product. And this is what you get. So you get cardstock, ink pads, designer series paper, and an in-color grid paper pack. And it's an awesome deal. It's already an awesome deal. It's $99 plus tax if that applies in your area. You get to pick $125 worth of whatever Stampin' Up! Merchandise you would like. And it can be anything out of either of the current catalogs or things from the clearance rack, whatever it is that you might like. And then you're going to get this for free, as well as a free paper pumpkin kit, some free business supplies and catalogs. Although if you want to just sign up and get the discount for yourself, you don't have to worry about the catalogs and the business supplies, but you're going to get them anyway. And it all ships for free, which is an excellent deal as it is. So let me know if you have questions about that. We would love to have you come join us. We've got a big group of mostly just happy stampers, people who like to get the discount for themselves. So they have joined just to be able to do that. So let me know if you have questions about that, and let's get going on the card. So hey, Karen and Jean Marie, I see is here, and Shelly as well. So thanks for joining today. I appreciate you being here. All right, first things first, I've got Daffodil Delight ink and one of the blending brushes, and we're just going to do some really quick blending on this, just adding basically what I want to look like the sun shining. So I've got Daffodil Delight ink. I've swirled my blending brush on it. I'm going to do a quick swirl on my scrap paper just to make sure that I don't have a big glob of ink that I don't want. And then we're just going to add a little bit of color to the panel of basic white cardstock. This panel is cut to a 5 1/4 by 4, so 4 1/4 by 5, whatever. So it's almost card front size. And I think we'll maybe do one more little swirl here and just make sure that we've got it doesn't need to be a huge sun or a really bright sun, but just wanted it to look like there was a sun on the card. So, hey, Myrtle, thanks so much for hopping in. Oh, and I won't tell, I promise. And Carla's here as well, so thanks for joining today. All right, so we've got kind of the background of the card done. Let me grab, next I have got the little cattail image and crumb cake ink, and we're going to stamp this image 2 times on the card front. Although it's basically hidden behind the bird, but I still liked them, and I thought they were a nice little addition, making it look a little more beachy or lake-ish or whatever you want to call it. So I stamped it twice on here. There we go. All right. And next thing that I did was I did this ahead of time just because, again, die cutting is pretty much die cutting. So this is a little wave die cut from the Heron dies. It's this die. And this piece of paper was originally about 1 inch tall when I started it. And I just took the die and I laid it across it. And very nicely just ran it through the die cutting machine. So super simple. And again, it's about 1 inch tall and it's about 4 inches wide. And I'm going to use a little Stampin' seal to adhere this to the card front. So we'll stick that down here right over the top of the little cattails that I have just stamped. And hopefully get it lined up here and straight. Okay. Although it's waved, so it doesn't really have to be straight. Okay, next thing I did, and again, I pre-cut this again with the Heron die, so I used this larger die that's got the grass in it, and hopefully you can see it. It actually cuts and embosses at the same time. I'm going to hold it up here a little bit closer to the screen, so hopefully it'll catch the light just right so you can see that it embosses as well, which is one of the things that I love it when the dies do both of that. So like I said, I'm not sure. Hopefully that caught it. The light caught it right so you can see the embossing on it. But I've got 2 of these. I cut them from mint macaron cardstock, and I'm just going to add a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue in the areas where it's a little bit thicker, and probably up here a little bit towards the top. But this is another one of those that if I had thought ahead, I could definitely have used my adhesive sheets to adhere these down, but I did not think that far ahead, and liquid glue works just fine too. So, all right. So I got the first one on here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the second one. So hopefully y'all are enjoying your Friday. It's a rainy day here in New Jersey, which I don't necessarily mind the rain. It's not terribly cold, which when it's miserable and cold and rainy, then it's not so much fun at all. But I don't know, it's not terribly cold today, so I can't complain too much about it. And then I'm going to adhere on, actually I'm going to scooch it over just a little bit, I think. Adhere it on, and try not to adhere them at exactly the same height. I tried to have it a little bit staggered. Again, if they're exactly the same height, it's all good. All right, just giving it a little smoosh down here, make sure that everything is adhered well before I move on to the next step. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for a minute, and we're going to do some stamping, and you might recognize the die cuts on here. Yes, I did just use the same piece of paper and stamped and die cut those for my original card. So I've got soft suede ink, and I have the standing Heron image that I'm going to ink up first. And we're going to stamp the standing Heron on a piece of basic white cardstock. And then we're going to stamp the flying Heron image as well. Again, same thing, soft suede ink. Let me make sure it looks like the ink part, or the wing. Yeah, there we go, that's better. The wing originally didn't look like it had ink on it. And just stamping that on basic white cardstock. All right, there we go. And I love the way that they do the stamps. I don't know if this is technically a distinctive stamp or not, but I love that it kind of gives it gradients of ink color, and I didn't have to do anything other than just ink it and stamp it. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brand spanking new magnetic cutting plate. This is redesigned and so much nicer and so much thicker and heavier than the original one that Stampin' Up! Had. And it works perfectly with their Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So the sandwich actually is plate number 1, which is your base plate. And then you're going to put plate number 5, which is the magnetic plate. And this is a health sealing. That's what I was going to say. Self-healing cutting mat. So it will eventually probably have to be replaced, but it will do lots and lots of cutting before you're going to have to replace it. So I'm so excited that we finally have a magnetic plate back. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting forever for one of those to show up. Then we're going to add our little Heron dies here. And let me get the right ones on. And we're just putting them right directly onto the cardstock, which is laying on top of, directly on top of the cutting mat, the magnetic cutting plate, I guess is what it's officially called. So I've got those laying there, and then we're just going to top it off with a single clear plate or acrylic cutting plate, whatever you want to call it. So a single plate number 3 is technically which one this is. And then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. So I'm going to do that off screen. So hopefully I don't wiggle and make y'all sick. And of course I just totally tilted this when I went to put it in the machine. And now I'm going to rearrange my little bird dies because they went zipping right off. All right. There we go. Put my dies away, and I've got my cute little die cut herons. Cute and little, I don't know if that's really what you use to describe a heron, but yay. So, oh, thanks so much, Carla. I'm glad that, yeah, it is a good set. It's lots of fun to play with, and such pretty images. So, all right, so I've got my 2 herons, and I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. And we're just going to stick on a couple Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of these are my little half ones that I chop up, on the back of the larger bird. And I'm actually going to put one down here on his or her, I don't know if it's a his or her, feet. And it's going to show through on the other side, and it's not a big deal because we're actually going to be covering that with a second wave. So don't worry about it if your Stampin' Dimensional is hanging out a little bit, because nobody will be able to see it. And nobody will know it's there but you and me. All right, so then I'm going to take my little heron, and I'm going to try to get him so he or she is standing. Actually, I'm going to scooch him a little bit closer in here, I think. He or she is standing upright, which when you put it on here, the feet, actually don't watch the feet, watch the body of the bird. Because the first time I put it on here, I looked at the feet, and then he was like tilted off that way, looking all sorts of crazy. So you definitely want to make sure that you look at the body and the legs and don't pay attention to the feet when you're adhering it onto your card front. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the the flying heron. We're going to take a couple Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to adhere those on the back. And we're going to adhere that bird to this panel as well. Normally when I'm doing this type of thing, I usually try to do all of the stamping on the background panel before I do the adhering of things on. But just with the design and the layout of this one, I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly where things were going to land on the card front before I stamp the little birds and the sentiment. Now, there's always that moment of, oh, hopefully this will turn out right, and hopefully it will. And if it doesn't, you can always redo it. So if I have a big goober, we'll redo it. So, all right, so I've got my little bird stamps. And again, these are from the Heron Habitat stamp set. And I'm going to try to carefully stamp these here. And then we're going to do it a second time and stamp them here. All right, one down, one to go. All right, and then I've got the sentiment from the Heron Habitat stamp set, and it says, "You're in my thoughts today," and we are going to stamp that in, again, soft suede ink. Main thing is I want to make sure that everything is inked up well, and then we're just going to, again, look at it, base it on where the grass is, where the feet of the bird landed, and we're going to stamp it here over on this side. All right, and I think I even got it reasonably straight. Hopefully I did. At least it doesn't look too crazy to me. All right. Oh, thanks so much, Julie. I appreciate that. So, and I actually almost forgot. I told you I was going to cover his feet with a wave, and I almost forgot to put the second wave on until I reached for the card base. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, there's another wave here. So I did the same thing with this wave. I cut it ahead of time, again, with the little wavy looking die on here. The samples in the catalog actually cut it looking like this, so I'm not sure which way it's supposed to be. I thought it looked more like waves like this, so that's why I went with it that way instead of the other way. But if you like the way it looks the other way, you can certainly put it on there the other way. This piece started out at about 3/4 of an inch tall, and again at 4 inches wide, so that it should cover the whole card front, or the bottom of the card front. So I'm going to take a couple Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to take the one and stick it way over here to the side, because I know I've got a piece over here that I'm going to be wanting to stick it to. And then I don't want to put one really close in here, because I know the little feet of my bird are going to be sitting in that area. So I want to make sure that I move it over a little bit and give it a little space for the bird feet. And then stick another one over here. And again, we're just going to do the same thing, line this up. Sometimes it's a little challenging to line it up when it's a layered piece like this and it's on Stampin' Dimensionals. But if you end up with it not sticking where you want it to be, I'll show you my little trick for cutting Stampin' Dimensionals off, and you can always reposition it if it ends up in here looking all sorts of crazy. So I think I got it on there fairly straight, but if you get it on and it's crooked and you don't like the way it looks, of course, I tell you I'm going to show you my trick, and then I forgot to have my scissors handy. Just take your paper snips, slide it in between your layers, find your dimensionals, and just snip them on the side, and then you can roll them right off. And then you don't have to redo, recut, it won't rip, whatever. So just snip the dimensionals right in half, kind of snip the foam part in half, and they roll right off. So super easy. I know, I agree, the details on the bird are really, it's a beautiful stamp set. And like I said, I love the sentiments in it, love the beach images in it. So it's a great, great stamp set. All right, so I've got basic white, thick basic white card base that I'm going to be adhering this to. My original card, as per my normal, is a top fold. So this one's a 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 across the top. So it opens on the top like a tent fold. This card, I just wanted to show you that you can do this as a book fold card as well, because I know not everyone loves the top fold cards like I do. So if you prefer the side fold, this card actually works for a side fold card as well. So this is your standard card base, kind of book fold version. Again, thick basic white, and it's cut to 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and scored at 4 1/4 down the middle. And then I'm going to take my panel that I've been decorating here, and we're just going to stick it onto the card front. And again, try to get it centered all the way around the edge. And that's it for the card front. So super, super simple. Stop showing you all the awesome stamp sets. Of course I'm going to show you all the awesome stamp sets. I know, like I said, I was talking with Karen briefly last night, and I may have mentioned how much I spent and how large the box is. There's more than one that showed up at my house. It was, yeah. There are way too many good things in this catalog. So, all right, so for the inside of the card, I have got the little Heron stamp here, and inked it in soft suede ink. And, ooh, I got a little, there's a little spot of something. I must have had some goobers on my, there we go. Well, flip it over and we'll do it on the other side. All right, we'll try it again and not have a piece of fuzz or whatever that was sticking on there. Try and do it without that. There we go, that looks much better this time around. And then I'm going to grab the little, it's sort of like a seagrass and water image to me. At least that's what it looked like. I'm like, yes. If I bought it all, yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Like I said, it was, well, it was a crazy, crazy day for me. I just went through the catalog and just started picking things, and yeah, I shouldn't have done that. So, all right, so we got the water and grass image from the Heron Habitat stamp set, and I have got mint macaron ink that I forgot. I was busy talking about this, buying everything and not telling you what I was doing. And I've just stamped it so that it looks like he's standing on something and not just floating in midair. And that is going to be it for the card. So I'm going to put this on the inside of the card base. Again, don't forget that I've got double points going on right now. So for any order of $50 or greater through me, you're going to get double reward points. And don't forget about the great joining deal. If you have ever thought about being a demonstrator, this is like the best time ever to do that. So definitely get on signing up, and let me know if you have questions. We'd love to have you come join our team. Like I said, we're just mostly a group of happy stampers that like to stamp and like to get the discount for ourselves. So, all right, using the bone folder, doing a quick crease on that, and that is it for the card. So, very easy. I did adhere Heron on. Yeah, I know. So, sometimes things come out and I listen to them later and I'm like, whoa, anyway. I try not to make too many mistakes, but I do often. So, all right. So there we go. So that is it for the card. It's super, super simple. Again, top fold, side fold card. And it's kind of a little bit of a case of one of the cards that's in the catalog. I changed up the color scheme on it, and they did a bunch of different blending inks and whatever. I thought it looked actually kind of nice, a little more clean design with just the white on it. So I liked it, and hopefully y'all do too. Again, all the details for this will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. Also take a peek at the Starter Kit promotion and my double points promotion. It'll all be posted tomorrow. I will link it up directly to this blog post in the video description tomorrow, so you can take a look at it anytime. If you have questions, you can check out the cardstock cuts and find everything that I used to create it on my blog. So again, thanks for joining today. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday, I guess it is. Enjoy your weekend. To anybody who's celebrating, happy Mother's Day this weekend. And I will chat with y'all. I plan to be back on my Facebook page live around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday, and again around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday here on YouTube. So, all right, talk to y'all later.